Everybody. Welcome to the last impact of 2022. Tonight, December 21st, the winter solstice, it's very appropriate that we have the 2022 Grammy nominee for Beyonce's Break My Soul, Terry Hunter, for the Terry Hunter remix, Best Remix Recording. Your host tonight, Jason Kramer from KCRW, and Thornell Jones of the Ovation Agency. Take it away, gentlemen.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Terry.
What up?
Terry's originating from Chicago, the home of house music, where it's very, very cold. I'm going to get colder.
Unfortunately, yes. 39 below.
39 below. Yes, I just saw Jason's face.
Oh my man, you don't even want to know what it is here.
No, I don't.
But I'm going to tell you anyways. It's 68. So
that I mean, it's and we about to get to tomorrow or starting tonight. I think they said 6 to 12 inches of snow, and then Friday is all gonna freeze.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, no wonder you guys are in the discotheques, house music, and
exactly keeping it hot,
dancing, shaking. Yeah,
absolutely.
We're all the Beach Boys and happy and fun, and you guys are, trying to get it going just so you don't freeze.
Man, I promise you,
there will be no hypothermia in Terry's house.
No, sir.
Keeping it hot with the productions and the remixes and things.
You got too many hot gems over here to be cool. So
there you go. Look, we are so excited to be with you again on Impact Music, Media, and Culture. We are so proud of the work that you have done before now, and then obviously this year's nomination in your name for Best Remixed Recording, Beyonce's Break My Soul remix. That is fantastic.
You won't break my soul. Break my soul.
So Terry, just going over especially house music came around in the 90s, actually 80s, but 90s, and really hit its pinnacle at that point, what it seems like, where it was most notable for artists, from Oakenfold to Fatboy Slim, and all those were house DJs became actual name DJs and musicians. And then we fast forward 20 years where house and EDM has just kind of come like a staple of music in itself. I'm really impressed with this version with Queen Bee, because it kind of throws it back a good 20-25 years.
Yes.
And so, is that part of the pendulum that everything kind of has its rotation, kind of goes back, and you have a new generation of kids that have no idea that sound?
Yeah, no, I think so, but I'm gonna go back and just because it's the Chicago in me to and I get what you're saying to fact check you, but way before Oakenfold and way before those names in Chicago, we had the likes of Ron Hardy, Frankie Knuckles, of course, Wayne Williams, Steve Hurley. There's a slew of other DJs. So Oakenfold was years and years after those guys that were in Chicago really putting it down. I have to say Farley as well, The Chosen Few, Andre Tony, Allen, and of course Jesse Saunders. So I just want people to know, a lot of people think it started with Oakenfold, and I love Paul, he's the man, but it surely did not. So just wanted to state those Chicago facts. That's like saying Philadelphia started hip hop, and the rappers would be like, nope, started here. But yeah, I just think that what I did to the Break My Soul remix was very current of what I'm doing and what I'm feeling as a producer remixer as of now. But the original song did take some 90s feel to it. And excuse me, I think it's really dope. And I think the song itself, like when you really listen to it, I was telling somebody the other day, when you really listen to that song, I don't think Beyonce gets enough credit as a singer and a vocal arranger, because the layers of that song and the backgrounds that are weaving in and out of each other, and the way she executed it, I think was incredible. And I think a lot of people, when you listen to the song, you kind of miss it. But if you take those elements out,
right,
it will seem very empty. You know what I mean? And so shout to her. And so I would say it's definitely music-wise a stab in, of the 90s, but very present in the vocal arrangement and cadence of today.
Yeah, it's interesting because you obviously, got all the stems and had an opportunity to hear it all broken apart.
Yes.
And that makes for a different kind of listening experience for sure. I was pretty impressed when I heard the remix pack about, the different directions that people were able to take the record. The Honey Dijon remix was great. I loved your remix. Even the Black Eyed Peas remix was great.
Yes.
But all in completely different ways.
Absolutely.
But the original, the Tricky did was really, really, it was a one listen for me.
Yes.
I was like, oh, okay, you're going there.
Huh? Right. We going there, huh?
All right. Yeah, no, so it's like, a lot of times people, I'm sure there are tons of people, like just now discovering you because of this nomination. And I can only imagine what it feels like to have the spotlight on you, both in positive and negative ways. But let's talk about some of the positive things that have come out so far from you being nominated this year.
Yeah. I just think I've said this before, and is I've worked with Jennifer Hudson, and she got nominated for the It's Your World record, and which was a lot different because I produced that record.
Right.
It wasn't a remix, but it's just even from I look at last year, I believe that for Best Dance Album, Black Coffee took it. It was dope to see like 10 City, that's from Chicago, that got nominated.
Right.
And just to kind of see where we're at, it's like, to me, it's like a whole different feeling. It's like, it's something different. It's something that's happening. And I don't know if it's because of all this controversy with house music, with, we talked about that before with Drake doing his thing and Beyonce with this whole dance thing. And I really think that's the new R&B that's forthcoming, in my opinion. But it just feels different. It feels bigger. Like the love that's being shown is just like everywhere I go. I mean, I'll recognize some people in the airport that I don't know. And it's like the first thing they said, oh man, congratulations. Oh, wow. I'm like, damn, like, people are paying attention. You know what I mean? For the last, how long has it been? A month since we announced or whatever, they announced the nominees. I mean, just that's the first thing out of people's mouths. So the love is overwhelming, man. To win, lose, or draw. I mean, this experience right now is incredible, and I just can't wait to take that all in February. That's
remarkable. Jason started out with the through line history. There's always been like a 20-year lag on stuff where the current generation looks back to whatever their parents were listening to or whatever. So it doesn't shock me. In fact, I'm inspired by this resurgence in house music. I also think it also coincides with we're coming out of a dark period.
Yes.
People need bright, and dance and energy, right? Obviously the pandemic or whatever. And there's always, after a war, whatever's happened culturally kind of leads to this shift towards up tempo and stuff like that. So it makes
politics. Yeah.
Yeah. What was that, Jay?
I said politics.
Yeah. Oh, come on now. And with politics being so divisive and dark right now, I think the dance floor is a place where people actually come together, which ironically, when I think about it, that was, the conversation and the mantra behind disco music in the 70s. Yes. It was the place where all the differences went away and everybody came together.
Yeah.
But
what's amazing, like now too, because we've talked about that, but it's like you said, dance floors, and that is absolutely true. And then, we had COVID, which is it brought us in our house, in the kitchens, the front rooms, the basements, the bedrooms, became the dance floors.
Right.
And so that is a whole nother level of exposing new music. And it's crazy, just me going out DJing this year, and it felt good to get back on the road from all the clubs I did, and I did a lot of festivals, and certain records that I played every week on my stream.
Right.
People knew it on the stream, not that they heard it before at a club or at a festival. They recognize that record because I played it all the time on the stream. So that's a whole new platform to me of breaking music. And everybody's like, oh, you know, once the COVID stuff is over, go back at it's over with. Like the things that some of the DJs are doing, man, is, you know, my brand is Sanitize Your Soul, and the stuff that I look at with Jazzy Jeff and what he's doing with the Mag Mob and the cult followings, Alan King with SNL. It's amazing how these people are getting behind that. And now you see even more so the open format guys are playing dance music.
Right.
Sets. You know what I'm saying? So it's amazing to see where we're at right now with music. And like you said, the up-tempo stuff, because the dance floors are also in our houses just as well as in the clubs and the festivals. So
it's true. That's very true. Jason, do you dance?
Jason was like he could bust. He just cut a rug, boy.
No, you know, I've become a little more self-conscious in the older years, but when you start dancing like your dad, then you know it's time to pack it up.
Listen, let me tell you something. I'm not a dancer, Jason, but that two-step will never fail you, baby. Get that two-step, you good.
A lot of people don't know this, but I actually took dancing lessons at Arthur Murray for a while.
Oh, nice. So you still got it in you.
I know how to do all those things. It's just, I mean, I grew up as kind of like a rude boy, and so in a lot of reggae growing up. So if it was more of that kind of that skanking thing and all that, more the Jamaican style, that was like that was my thing. And I remember there was a movie called Dance Craze that was about it was British ska, and it was like live concert footage. And I remember us in the movie theater, and this was 1981, and so I'm 52, so we got in trouble by the movie theater, and we were going to get thrown out if we didn't go back to our seats. Everybody in the aisle was dancing. Everybody like in the theater was dancing in the aisles. To this
while the movie was going on.
As the movie was going on, and you know, that was that.
Well, that's a good story.
Yes,
that's
I mean, the only time I was dancing in the theater was when we would go to the midnight showings of the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
We're getting
dancing time warp, baby.
Yeah,
there you go.
I've seen that movie twice or three times, and I fell asleep the last time. So
not good.
That's hilarious.
It's amazing. Well, you know, the thing about this conversation, this artist conversation series, is literally about music, media, and culture, and so we're just hitting all the points. It's amazing. I wonder if you know, because we are talking, you know, about this resurgence in dance music, and you know, you did hit on something about how you know, house music and dance music is well, you know, the pop stuff is always going to be like marketed in the mainstream, but I'm always like I'll just say excited when I'm out at a mainstream venue and the open format DJs playing their minute and a half or whatever, and they put on a record, and I'm like, oh, and then it's over too soon. I can't stand that. But did you I don't know if you watch TV or not, have you heard the cover of 100% Pure Love that's in the Target commercial?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes. Oh yeah.
I was just like, what?
My thing is, why didn't you just use the original?
I'm gonna just keep on hunting. She probably wanted too much money.
Yeah, true.
But they tweaked it nice. I was just like, oh, I know that.
That record sounds familiar. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I was at Mercury Records in the early 90s, and you
who's
know,
that over there? Old Bruce Carbone.
Right? Yes. Lord. And when he signed her and the Gypsy Woman from the Basement Boys and stuff, that was great. And then she came back with 100% Pure Love, and that was great. I actually saw her here last spring in Fort Lauderdale. It was like the week after Michael K. Williams had passed. And for those who
yeah, they were
don't know,
close.
they were very close. And Michael was one of her dancers. I met Mike during that period, and because I was friends with some other people who were in their crew. And she was, when I mentioned it, she was like, "Oh, we're not talking about that," and that was the end of our conversation. I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, break it up like that." But it was, it's this idea that the music lives on.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And like so many, I mean, you named Frankie Knuckles. I was friends with John and Frankie, and obviously they're no longer with us, but the music still lives on. I remember I was in Chicago just this summer, and I think Wayne played the whistle song, and I was like, "Oh, the whistle song!" And then of course, while it was super duper commercial and it was a little down tempo too. Well, let me ask you this question: would you consider Vogue a house record?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's just
Definitely
goes down a little bit.
Yeah. But you can understand it, and that's where I'm getting back to as well, is that I want to see those different tempo variations back in house music, because right now we're stuck in the 120s, you know what I mean? And so in the 90s, you could think about it, we had stuff that was 110, 115, 118. And so I would definitely consider that, even though it's probably like 116, 117. Yes. But yeah, like we should get back there. That's a fun groove, that pocket in between that. That's this really dope pocket at that tempo. So
and it was interesting because that was one of the quote unquote criticisms of the original Break My Soul, was that was a little slow, right? But I didn't see it as a problem, but I understood where it was coming from a purist standpoint.
But the fact of them saying that, because I heard it too, and I was like, so when did you start listening to house music?
Right.
So
exactly.
You know what I mean? So like that's a retarded statement. You know what I mean? So yeah, I didn't understand that. Like you listen to a lot of those records, 10 City, Lil Lewis, Masters at Work, all of that stuff coming out, Soft House Company in London, all of that stuff that wasn't touching 120. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't,
So Terry, this is an interesting question I'm gonna ask you.
Sure.
Because it's something that is coming up and we're seeing more and more of it. And if you don't know much into it, I'll explain or not, but with AI as being something that's being really pushed into right now.
Yes.
And I've seen videos where you just punch in Katy Perry without typing in Katy Perry's name. You type in all the parameters and AI actually will make the lyrics and the sounds and everything almost sounding like a Katy Perry without even the machine knowing who Katy Perry is. How not stressful, but what's your mindset with the future of where we're putting music? And we both teach, and I had a student say this to me, and I found it really interesting. She said, they think we need it. And I thought that was very profound. They think we need it, not who, but we know who, the moneymakers, but they think we need it. And so they're going to continue to build it.
Like, let me say this, right? I haven't, and I'm going to be just 100 with you on that. I haven't really totally grasped that whole concept. Like, I'm sitting back kind of watching from a distance, but you're close enough to know what's going on. My thing is, roll it all the way out. What's the end result? Like, what are you tinkering it? Just little steps here and there. Like, my thing is, let's just put it all the way out. And so I get what some of the stuff is doing. It's cool, but then when you start looking how it can be used wrong, it's scary. You know what I mean? Like, it's really scary. So I'm just kind of like watching it, but not paying attention to it. So I don't know, like who was it that was telling me they were coming up with programs to where instead of your voice saying whatever, like if you think it, it'll do it for you. They're already putting that out. And I'm like, what's the point? I don't.
Well, it's interesting. I hear what you're saying. What is the point?
Right.
What's the end game in all of it?
Right.
And I love what your student said about they think we need it. As a kid, I used to listen to science fiction. Read science fiction. And I was into science fiction. My favorite movie, I think, was 2001: A Space Odyssey. So this whole notion of the future and technology and the computers like taking over and stuff like that is something that I've been, pondering for a generation or two. But you're right. It does come down to, the business people looking for the next thing that they can exploit, the next top technology they can exploit so that we can, spend our money on it.
Right.
But, what we do have to get behind is understand that a lot of this technology was developed as military applications. The military industrial complex developed this stuff, for war instruments of war and stuff like that. So now these consumer applications are, relatively innocuous, but like when you think about it, you've seen these videos on Instagram, what they call them deep fakes, where they take the person's face and then they sync like them saying something else.
Yep.
That's horrifying.
Yeah, it is. That's what I'm saying.
Horrifying.
Yes.
It's cute that the computer can now create a Katy Perry record. It's cute that they could, emulate an Earth, Wind, and Fire record, if you would, because, maybe somebody would dig that. But there was something that happened recently that it was just, the AI rapper that was signed by
Atlantic,
right?
No, Capital. Sorry, Capital.
I haven't heard about that.
Ooh,
AI rapper.
And
yeah.
AI.
So what happened was there was Capitol Records created this AI rapper, and it was beyond cultural appropriation with the rapper, and it ended up tanking.
Wow.
Yeah, and so
Thank God.
yeah, on a Monday they rolled it out, and by Friday they had canceled it.
Done. Yeah.
Done.
The pushback was loud. They were like,
Yeah.
no.
And it goes back to they think they want it.
Right.
It goes back to that, and it goes back to, and also my students said too, if we do this, we're not going to have new sounds. We're going to be frozen because we're going to be stuck into what we think is, and it maybe goes back to that pendulum of consumers that every 20 years we kind of pick up that sound. And here's the thing, house music, dance music, EDM, whatever you want to call it, the drum machine. Yes. When that first came out, that was poo-pooed because that's going to take away from drummers.
Yep.
I look at it as maybe a new instrument, not necessarily taken away from drummers, because even when you see some of these live shows with from Moby to Ronnie Size, and they crank it out, or Jojo Myers, who does jazz, but when they crank it out on a live instrumentation, oh my God, that's like taking house music and electronica to a different level.
To a whole nother level. And see, that's the thing about it. I'm with you. I look at it as another sound, especially there are things that you can do with drum tones right now that you couldn't do with just live drums as far as the actual sound. But now you got the capabilities of taking those sounds that you find and sample and chop up and create and still have those played live with that feel. So I think that what you're saying is absolutely spot on, and that should show them it didn't replace the drummer. It maybe enhanced the live drummer, because some of those sounds and feels you can't get from a drum machine. You know what I mean? Versus a person going in and playing a 16 triplet hi-hats, and you program it on a drum machine, it's still going to sound a little different. And you can manipulate it and slow it down and pitch it up and swing it. But it's something about a live drummer that no drum machine to me can emulate.
You just said no amount of quantizing is going to make it right.
None. And I mean, it's cool. You'll get that, but you're not getting, and you can get close to it, because now a lot of the guys are doing what they call finger drumming, like on the MPC, where they're doing it and tapping it in live, and there's no quantizing at all. They're using human feel, but they're using the drum machines and the technology from that and the sounds to kind of play their stuff live. So
that's the thing, is some of these AI computers now are going to be able to emulate that.
Yeah.
Because they're going to randomly go through all those processes.
Yeah.
what my fear is that it learns faith, it learns soul.
Yes.
And once you get into that to me is like, this is not good. Because once a computer learns faith and learns soul, because that comes from here, it doesn't, it comes from here, it doesn't come from anywhere else. And that's very personal too. And, I mean, we are a bunch of chemicals, so, and computers are a bunch of ones and zeros. So, you figure it out. I don't know.
Yeah, that is true. But I still think people, regardless, like you said, I didn't even know about that AI rapper. At the end of the day, no matter how weird you are, how crazy you are, it still is a human element that we have to connect with. I mean,
it's the weird thing.
Yes.
It's you know what? I got really good really good advice. Every artist that wants to be worth the salt needs to study the greats.
Mm-hmm.
And a machine cannot study the greats because the machine doesn't know what the great is.
That's it.
And then we have that proof in this last, I'm like pointing. We have this proof in this last year or two where Spotify actually has a sound, like the Spotify sound, and you have all these kids who are locked away in their bedrooms creating the same sound. And to me, that's almost the result of what AI will be, is this specific sound. So now we have these kids that don't know any difference. Little kids saying they're R&B, but they don't know who Marvin Gaye is.
There you go.
So it's just like this rotation sound.
But the funny thing about that though is the data show that over 60% of the streaming volume on Spotify is catalog.
Right, but that's older folks, I think.
Well, you might be right, and I'm just wondering if they tweak the algorithm and throw some classics in there at the references to these things that younger people are consuming, would that help grow the fan base for the younger music, for the older music, the catalog, the classics, whatever. Just a question. I'm not and because it's okay, so I'm just I don't read a lot anymore. I do consume a lot of video content. And today, one of these guys that was on Instagram was unpacking how Jermaine Dupri stacked samples from different records to create the sound, the sonic bed for the Crisscross song, Jump. Yep. And I was like fascinated by his choices and stuff like that. But it was in the unpacking of those records. I think I knew there were 4 main samples, and I think I knew 2 of them. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then there was a couple I didn't know, and it triggered me. Now, this is me to say, oh, I want to go check out that record, right? And I love these like blogs and stuff that are like, sample this. And they're like, oh, this is the song that, fed this song. And there was a long thread. There's this one guy who does, he'll play a little piece of a song and say, well, what is this from? Like, not even like 3 bars. It's just like a bar, maybe a bar and a half. And so there was this long thread about the Still Not a Player remix by Big Pun and Joe versus the people who were like, oh, that's A Little Bit of Love by Brenda Russell.
Right. Yes.
And everybody who knew where it originally came from was like, nope, that's Brenda Russell. And they're like, no, the cadence is different. I said, well, hold on now. And I didn't put this in here, but I'm saying to myself, I know Brenda Russell. And when the record came out, and then Big Pun died, I asked her, I said, did you get paid? And she was just like, no, the money was tied up in probate because it was a sample. It was her music.
Wow. Of course it was. Of course it was.
So I'm just like, the people need to be taught, and it's just like, and those people, the powers that be, the people who are doing the algorithms, the people, even yourself, like you're a DJ, you had the opportunity to introduce audiences to records that they wouldn't know, or the reference record or whatever. Yeah. I love the fact that Wayne Williams from The Chosen Few, your compadre, plays that Way Back When mix.
Of course.
Woo, that record gets me up on the dance floor every single time.
Don't, 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 don't.
You blame it all on your friends. That's, yeah, just.
So y'all watching, go back, Brenda Russell, way back when, then you'll be able to connect with us if you don't know.
Okay, right, exactly. So I mentioned the Chosen Few. They are like stalwarts, the champions of house music from the very beginning. Some people don't even know the story that the reason why house music is called house music is because it started in this club called The Warehouse in Chicago. Mm-hmm. Talk about your Chosen Few brethren, just kind of big them up a little bit, because people might know the name, but they don't even know who those guys are.
So the Chosen Few DJs, one is Wayne Williams, Jesse Saunders, Alan King, Tony and Andre Hatchett, myself, and Mike Dunn. And myself and Mike Dunn are the babies of the bunch, meaning we were added to the group. I was added to the group. I get the date. I think I'm off for about a year, maybe 2004, 2005. And then Mike came in maybe 5-6 years after that. But we're a collective of DJs, man, that's just really represent house music to the fullest. We do an incredible event in the beginning of July called the Chosen Few DJs Festival, also in Chicago known as the Old School Picnic. But it started, man, with Wayne Williams, and he thought that he wanted to have a DJ crew that what he felt was the best in the game in Chicago at that time. And it started, I believe, in 90 with the Hatches, because Jesse moved out of town, Tony moved out of town, and Wayne later moved out of town, and everybody would just get together on the 4th of July and play music, man. And it just kind of grew into this big phenom. And then Wayne, of course, we were all friends before that, but was really appreciating what I did and how I was representing Chicago by me traveling and my production and remixes. And he wanted me to be a part of the crew. And when he, brought me in 2004, 2005, I mean, Chosen Few in Chicago in July was the place to be. And that following year, I remember, man, it jumped from maybe, I'm giving the false numbers because I really don't know, but say 4,000 people. Then the next year we had like 9,000 people. And the year after that, it was like 15,000 people. Mm-hmm. Then the year after that was like 20, and it was just growing and growing, and it's still growing. So I don't think, as far as house music, there's not a festival that is big as ours. You have a lot of festivals that are great, that's all over the world, but representing the birthplace of house music, representing the homegrown sound, it's the Woodstock of house, really. You know what I mean? We start out, like people don't realize we open up, the first DJ goes on and the gates open, I believe, between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. And the reason for that is we're probably the only festival in the world, because again, it started off as a picnic where you are allowed to bring your grills in, your coolers in, you can cook. So people have taken this to a whole nother level to where they're decking out their tents. They're making their tents look like, someone's front room, and you're barbecuing. This all represents love. And it's just, it's amazing. So that part of what we do with Chosen Few is just totally, to me, groundbreaking. And the first DJ goes on at 8 a.m. So there's no other festival where a DJ goes on at 8 a.m. And understand, by 8:15, you have people on that lawn dancing at 8:15. Sometimes at 8 o'clock when we first start. And that dance floor by 11 o'clock, forget it. It's packed, 40,000 people in there. And it's like that until 9 o'clock at night. And never an issue. You hear so much stuff that, this happened and this happened at this festival, this. We have not had one violent, one bad issue at the Chosen Few. And I think it's important that we keep pushing and talking about that, because we get it. Bad news makes, news and the headlines and all that. But also we should change the narrative on love is also the way to go, and not having any incidents. And that's what Chosen Few is about, man.
You're actually seeing that a lot with more songs that do have that positive message.
Yes.
Just like,
and I'm gonna tell you, that's why I love DJ Khaled. Like everything is just love, man. And I listen, It's contagious, man. And I love that about him. And especially in hip hop, where hip hop has this bad look right now, is all this killing and violence and drugs and this. And Khaled is about love, and he's representing that all over the world, man. And a big salute to him, man. So I think we should take that page out of all genres of music from Khaled and what he's doing, and infect people with love.
Well, you are representing love all over the world too. You guys were in Croatia this year. Where else did you spend this year?
Oh man, all over the place. Croatia, big festival in London. I went to France, Italy, Germany. And I'm gonna tell you, I had a fantastic run in the States.
Okay.
Canada, Atlanta. Of course, I did 2 or 3 in Chicago, New York, Jersey, LA, Oakland. So it was just Seattle.
Right.
Like, it was just crazy, this shit. So I was just so happy to see these festivals and these club nights that never existed before popping up. And I think that's the forward trend, man.
I think so too. And it was funny because, you know, you just put things out there, but I have a buddy of mine, I haven't actually talked to him in a minute, and I hit him up because I knew that he would probably be planning his festival in Newark for the summer. And I said, oh yeah, I'm working with Chosen Few and Terry. He was like, oh my God, we both did. I was like, oh, well, do it again.
Do it again. And I can't give Florida, man, forgive Florida. Florida has always been at the forefront of it as well. So big shout to the state of Florida, man, for representing music and house music and great music. And I'm jealous right now because it's December and it's below zero and it's warm out there. So
yeah, it just came in it was 80.
80. I'm finna flip my computer down, baby. Bye.
I'm sorry. You know, it was really funny because I was like, it's a little chilly. And I looked at the thermometer in the car. It said 80. I was like, what's wrong with me?
That's right. Get them.
All right.
I got to give a big shout to my team too. TNA. If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
How about that?
TNA, baby.
God, Terry, this is so great. Is there anything you want to share with the people before we wrap? Because, you know, we know we can go put on your parka.
Listen, see, he's doing it again, Allison. I'm telling you, he's doing it again. No, I just want to say, like, let's keep this love going to everybody that's watching this. Share it, send it all around. It's a fun interview. It's great what you guys are doing with this impact. And it's amazing. And just really, man, I've never really asked for this outside of people. I don't know, but man, send one up to the big guy, man. Let's get these prayers out here that we bring this Grammy home. We claiming it. And I think it would just win, lose, or draw, though. It has done already so much for the house community that's so deserving of this award. And let's just bring it home, because understand, we gonna represent this right. We come home with this. This will not be a celebration in the month of February, and in March, it just floats on out. We going all year. Yeah. We're going all year until the following Grammy. So understand something. Terry Hunter and Team Terry Hunter, this is a celebration, and this is for the community, and this is for all the house music lovers all over the world. So we gonna go hard with this one. So just send one up that your boy bring it home.
Hey.
All right, Terry, we want to thank you. We hope you definitely win this one for your remix with Beyonce's Break My Soul. The Terry Hunter remix, it's great. It brings you back.
Check out Billboard magazine too. The Grammy edition came out. I got it and saw my name in there. I was excited. I've been in Billboard a lot of times for different records I've remixed or produced, but it's great to be in there because of the 2023 Grammy nominees. So pick up your latest edition of Billboard, y'all. That sounds like a commercial. They need to be paying y'all for this.
I'll ask.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much, and we wish you best of luck with this. And
thank you, Jason.
Definitely see you on the B side of this.
You know it. Thank you, guys.
All right. See ya.
Peace.